Kippur, this passage from the Torah. This
Okay, wait. Yeah, but hold on, one thing at a time. Can I hold that thought for 1 second? Saving the planet. Yeah, saving the planet is a crock. Okay? That is not a Jewish concept. The idea of, oh, we're going to save the planet, and oh, we're going to recycle, and all this stuff, that goes actually against Torah thought. Can I explain why?
Yeah.
Torah thought believes, Torah values say that God runs the universe. And God is so powerful and so all-knowing that He can come up with a way, or He has already come up with a way to assure that the universe and the earth will continue to grow and to exist and sustain itself no matter what happens here on the planet. There is nothing that we can do as people that will affect the earth so badly that God can't handle it. Okay? We're talking about an earth that has meteorites hitting it all the time, that has volcanoes that blow and send ashes into the stratosphere that surround the entire atmosphere, like you blow cigarette smoke into a balloon and it fills it. Okay, we are talking about a massive earth, and you think a little plastic bottle is going to upset the whole thing? You think that us with our industrial smokestacks and our cars and our pollution is going to upset the whole world and it's not going to be fixable? This is somebody who says that either has no clue as to how that there's a God in the world, or has an infantile concept of God, because they have put limitations on God as if to say that this world is bigger than Him. He cannot fix, and He could not have come up with a world that can withstand a plastic bottle and some pollution. It's a world of, it's just so complicated that no one can figure out how to handle that, which basically says that God is limited in His thinking. No. You are limited in your thinking. You cannot conceive of anything bigger than what is presented to you on MSN TV and on CNN, and you read Huffington Post, and you listen to Al Gore, and you are overwhelmed with what propaganda that they spit on you. But you know what? God is smarter than you. And God says, no, you can't possibly affect my universe. And if you try to, I'm not going to allow it. So the whole concept of recycling so as to prevent pollution, or because we don't have room for your plastic here, is not a Torah concept. By taking plastic and recycling it and recycling the cans, unless you're doing it for money. If you're doing it for money, I'm in your corner. Like, no, hey, they'll give me money to take the cans to the recycling center. Okay, I get it, because you're doing it for money. But if you're doing it because, oh, I want to save the environment, then you need to really reboot your thinking, because you are not you're making a statement, I don't trust God to be able to handle this. I think that these cans are more important, are bigger and more powerful than God, and God could not possibly overcome that. Okay? So you're making a statement against God, and that is why I refuse to ever recycle, because I believe it's a statement. Okay? So there's that. Now,
Ginger had something very interesting to say in the chat room. As you were talking, she said, yes, yes. Reb Taco asked, are you climaxing? And Ginger replied, yes! Okay. So she really liked your rant.
Okay.
Maybe we should turn down our charisma so not so many women who are watching climax, because it might distract them. Like the power of the orgasm is so powerful that it can distract the mind from the profundity of Torah.
Brandon says, I don't see how not recycling is something Hashem wants. Yes, I'm going to say the opposite. Rev. Victor Miller even says this, so it's not even me. When you don't recycle, you are making a statement that you trust that God is bigger than this universe. That you're saying that the universe is limited and God is bigger. So you're making a Kiddush Hashem because you're publicly, you're making a proclamation, you're proclaiming, you're walking around and you're saying God exists. Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the universe, not some liberals in some think tank in Washington, D.C. Okay? So you're saying God exists, I trust Him, there's not an iota in me that thinks that this world is so weak that this bottle or this can or whatever the hell it is can possibly affect it, because I know that God handles it. Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you before. Now, this week's Torah portion is about we don't on this Shabbos. I just want to explain this before you start talking. This Shabbos, we don't have like a normal, this Shabbos is different. We don't have like a normal Torah portion like we do on the other Shabbos up till now. Because this Shabbos is Yom Kippur, and we read a special set of Torah portions. So the next Torah portion to follow after Ha'azinu is V'zosa Bracha. We save Zosa Bracha, it's not going to be read this week, and instead we read what's the special ones for Yom Kippur. The special ones that we read for Yom Kippur are what, Levi?
They're about sex.
They're about sex. And in the Torah portion that we read this week, right before the end of Yom Kippur, which is called Ne'ilah, which is the closing of the door, that's the very last thing we read. The last thing at the end of the day of praying and fasting, the very, very end, that's when we bring out something that we need to remind ourselves of. The most holiest time of the year, right before the final doors are closing, and we're at this holy level that we've been raising ourselves for 25 hours. We read about the lowest and debasing mitzvahs in the book, and they are, what are they, Levi?
They're against forbidden sexual relationships.
And which ones are they?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought we were going to discuss them.
We are.
You didn't prepare.
No, I didn't. But you know them, right?
Okay.
I mean, from
Not
first-hand experience.
Not all of them. No, Jews versus... She asked a great one. Thank you, Ginger. That's a great question. She said, Jews versus Goyim. Jews, yes, are not supposed to be with non-Jews and not supposed to have relations, but that is not one of the ones that we're talking about. And that's a very good... Let's make a differential. Jews not allowed to have relations... A Jew's not allowed to have relations with a non-Jew. That's a forbidden sexual act. However, that's not at the level of these forbidden sexual acts, because the following ones carry the death penalty. And they take
bestiality, incest, homosexual sex between men.
Men is homosexual, male
homosexual act.
Bestiality,
the anal act.
Right. Adultery. Adultery is a married woman and another man who's not her husband. They both are executed for that. Every one of these, everybody's executed. Both males.
Well, threesomes.
Like the pitcher and the catcher.
Like you see a lot of movies where there's
bestiality. We even kill the animal.
Going on.
Yes.
You definitely get death penalty for double penetration.
Yes.
It's whether even if you're giving or getting.
But check this out. Say a man and a woman were married, and she wanted a third guy, and they were both doing her at the same time. So she and the other guy are murdered, but the husband, he walks away scot-clean. Think about that. That's interesting. Okay. Now, there's other ones too. Incest. And let's get into the heavy-duty incest, and that's really what the focus of this week's parsha is.
So you can't marry your wife's sister, even if you divorce your wife. Right? You can't marry anyone who's been with your father sexually. Yeah,
that's a strict one. But there's 18 explicit relationships that are defined in the written Torah. We read them this week. That are incestual, and that's what the focus of this week's parsha is: the 18 relationships that are incestual. What do you got?
I'm just going to look them up.
You're going to look them up in there?
Yeah.